Well, I am Dr. Shayla Hankeson. I'm a professor in the Department of Zoology here at OWU, and I am very interested in understanding and studying fish behavior and fish evolution, and that's where this lab comes in our research project for the summer. This summer we're particularly interested in studying something called behavioral syndromes, and a fun way to think about behavioral syndromes is they're sort of like personality. So if you put a fish under different circumstances, does it behave in predictable ways? So is a shy fish also less active in another sort of circumstance? And one interesting question that we have for that is understanding the repeatability. So fish that are repeatedly shy under a certain circumstance, so maybe they don't approach other fish, are those fish the ones that are more likely to have personalities, to have these behavioral syndromes? And you can think of this much like you would think of your dog having a personality, that it's very playful and both with humans and with other dogs. That would be an example. With our fish, we can't really look at playfulness. We look at things like how much it likes to associate with other fish. We look at how much it likes to explore new surroundings in a tank, things like that. And then we test it repeatedly over a number of weeks to see how consistently it behaves and displays that personality. And that's where Rachel Bowes, my summer student, is working with me, and where we're trying to understand how these things evolve. Overall, we're hoping that this will do two things. It'll help us understand how behavior and evolution interact, because that could potentially tell us something about, you know, if a fish is very consistent or a fish has a very strong personality, does it behave differently in its environment, and maybe that would help it avoid predation, for example. But also, we're also interested in understanding the genes that regulate that. So another part of this, being done less here but more at other labs, is looking at some of the genes associated with personality. So can we nail down, probably not one, but the dozens or maybe even hundreds of genes associated with being shy versus being very bold, that kind of thing.
Here this summer I'm studying behavioral syndromes and repeatability in the threespined stickleback in the behavior lab. A couple of the tests that we're doing this summer is we're testing the activity level, and so what we have here is we have a fish in the activity tank, and we have a grid on the bottom of the tank that's numbered all backwards, so we can look at a mirror, so they're forwards. And so you can block the tank so the fish can't see you. And then you can test how much they move in a 5-minute period. So every 6 seconds we mark down what number they are on, like in the grid, and then we can run that through statistics and see how many times they moved during that 5-minute period and different things like that, and figure out, like, if a fish is inactive, is that also a shy fish? So if a fish stays on like one number the entire time. We also have an exploration tank set up here. Is that fish also less explorative? So if it stays in one place all the time, is it the same as a fish that stayed in one number all the time?